Welcome to the Dr. Dare Show. My name is Dr. Frederick Dare. I am a therapist here in Atlanta, Georgia, and welcome to my channel. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, share it, and click the little bell at the bottom of the screen so that you will get updates of when I upload new content. We usually cover hot topics or mental health issues. Today is no different. So today we are talking to two mothers of inmates that were at the Santa Rosa Correctional Institution, and that's the one on 5850 East Milton Road, and this is in Milton, Florida. So let me give you a little background about Santa Rosa Correctional Institution. It was established in 1966 according to the website, and it's a part of the Florida prison system. And their mission and goal for inmates is that they will provide a safe environment, no victimization, and provide rehabilitative programs for their inmates so that they'll have a smooth transition from inside into the community. That's what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be providing vocational programs, alcoholic and narcotic anonymous programs, and there's supposed to be a chaplain in there to provide like Bible study and worship programs. So that's what they are supposed to do. But the interview that I'm getting ready to do is going to reveal what is reality in Santa Rosa Correctional Institution. And so this facility houses, according to their website, they house approximately 1,600 male adults in the main housing area. Then there's an annex who has about 1,400 adult male inmates in there. And so yeah, this is what we're looking at. This is what they're supposed to be doing. So I'm going to introduce you to the mothers of inmates, and let me give you a little background. One of the inmates is deceased, and his mother is here with us today. And then the other mother, her son is currently an inmate in the facility, the Santa Rosa Correctional Institution. So, hello, ladies.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good. How are y'all?
Doing well as to be expected.
Okay. So I gave a little background of Santa Rosa Correctional Institution. So now it's your turn to kind of share your son's perspectives of the life inside of the Santa Rosa Correctional Institution. So it's all yours.
My name is Denise, and I am the mother of Deshaun McQueen. That if you look on Santa Rosa Correctional Institution mortality list, he ended up deceased February 11th, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And this happened after numerous emails. I have horrifying and devastating emails that lasted roughly around 5 months after my son transferred to that facility from Taylor Correctional Institution in Perry, Florida. So his day could be closer to home to get more visitation exposure, with family, and one of his beloved, that's my nephew, and one of his goddaughters that he adopted. And several months, he got there in August of 2019. Several months after he was there, these threats started coming through my emails because he always had a purchase. This was going on his 4th year being incarcerated.
Okay.
And he's done time twice at the same institution and never had any disciplinaries on his jacket. He said they just started targeting him, and one officer came in his cell this one night. This was in December. I mean, I have like 40-something emails in my phone. If you would like me to just read a couple of them or whatever, it was just the emails would come at 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock a.m. in the morning, all night long, all day long, with the threats, and they just continuously got worse, to the point to where he asked me, he said they started telling him that they was above the law, that they didn't care who we contacted, and I have a son that works for the federal government, and I also have a cousin that's State Senator Bobby Powell in the state of Florida. He told me the Senate is over the institution and that he needed to be contacted at this time. So I contacted my cousin, and at first he said his colleagues were saying, oh, you know, that happens all the time, blah, 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 blah. And to the point to where he told them, he said, no, I know my people, I know my cousin, and it's got to be something bad for him to want me to get involved. So at this point, the warden contacts me and tells me that he would do an investigation, but he couldn't write up an investigation on his own staff. That had to go to the attorney general, and he would write it up and send it to them. So at this point, I contacted the attorney general and also reported it, and they said that they would start an investigation. Well, when that happened, what they did, they moved him from one part of the compound, from the main unit to the annex unit.
Okay.
And the same day they moved him, he's on site leave. He also had a bottom bunk pass. He's always been on the bottom bunk. They tried to put him on a top bunk. He refused to go on the top bunk. So at this point, now he has a disciplinary because they wrote him up as refusing to a verbal order and put him in confinement. But he got a way to get an email out to me saying, Mama, now help. They put me in confinement. So I contacted my cousin, Bobby Powell. He called up there and told them that he was State Senator Powell and he has a relative on that compound and that no harm better not come to him. At that point, they released him out of confinement. But while he was in that confinement, I have a letter, which I don't have it with me. I wish I would have been prepared for it. That letter was written in someone else's handwriting. So it had to be obviously an officer that in the letter it said, Mama, you got to help me because I'm not going to make it. They are going to do something to me and I know they are. They're planning something. He said, they put me in confinement, took my tablet, which that tablet was supposed to be on him at all times. I found out they turned the Wi-Fi off, and they took his tablet, and I called up there, and I called up there so much that they got to the point where they would put me on hold, wouldn't come back on the phone, they wouldn't answer the phone, I would just keep calling. They would hang up on me when I inquire about what's going on with my son. And at this point, I pulled up one of his emails. It said, Mama, look, the Lieutenant L.C. Hughes just came through here 5 minutes ago and went to the officer station and hollered out of the flap, Inmate McQueen, you need to find me when count clear. You've been lying on me and I don't even know you. He said, I don't appreciate you and you better find me telling lies on me. He said, Mom, I do not like this threatening shit. Mom, no, I ain't all right. And get someone on this phone right now. He said, this shit is getting out of control up here. These people are above the law. They do what they want, and they don't care about Cousin Bobby, which is a state senator. And he put emergency with 3 exclamation points. Then, where is it? Is there another one? Yeah.
So let me stop you here so I can summarize like the whole story. So your son went in August 2019 is what you're saying. And then
he transferred there from another facility.
Okay, they transferred him to Santa Rosa in August 2019. And so once he got in there, he started receiving threats from correctional officers.
Right.
And so then he was keeping in contact with you via the emails, explaining that I'm being threatened and somebody needs to help me.
Every time they would do something, because he when they have their own personal tablet that you purchase for them, they have that tablet on them 24/7. So these threats and these emails, it got so bad to where I couldn't sleep and he couldn't sleep, because he said they would come in his cell. Some of these emails would come through at 1:30 in the morning. They got signs on it.
Wow.
They would come through 1:30 in the morning, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, all times of night and day. So it got to, he started saying, Mama, now I can't sleep. He said, Mama, and then I went and visited my son every weekend. If I wasn't on it, emailing him back and forth, trying to console him, because he had got so bad to where he said, Mama, I can't take this no more. I'm about to get in some trouble. He said, and I'm sick of what they're doing. I can't rest. I got his grievances out of his property when he ended up deceased. And some of his grievances, I read one of his grievances. It said, there's this lieutenant, his name is Lieutenant Martin. His name was in all my son's emails. He said he is the head of all this. And he is telling the other officers what to do, and then telling them, don't keep vibes, don't do that during the night. I got him, I'm going to bag him. He's going to be bagged soon.
And
but
so,
these are the threats that they were telling him. So,
okay, so when you say bag, that means, and I'm just
that means they going to do something to him. They going to say that. They're leaving it in a body bag.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that. So whoever's listening out there, the threat was that I'm going to bag you, which means that I'm going to kill you. I'm going to take you out, basically.
Yeah, that's basically what he's saying. Is we gonna bag you. You know, and that's what that means. So at this point, my son, everybody that know him knows he was not a person to fear nobody, not even the officers.
Can I interject one moment? This is Earlene now, and I'm talking about my son that's there now.
Okay.
Those are the same complaints that he was making, and that's what made Miss Denise contact me, and me and her start getting in contact with each other. Because when she seen me post that I was going to peacefully protest, because my son said that they had done everything to him but kill him, and that they telling him they gonna bag him. She actually went to my mom's house, beating on the door to let us know that please try to get him out of there, because that's how they killed my son. They said the same
it's
thing.
It's the same thing that's leading up to what her son is telling her. These are the same actions that are going on, and I feared that call. I got where I couldn't sleep, and I got that call, and that was the most horrible, devastating day for me to even get that call. But I was just in the back of my mind, I was waiting on this to happen.
Wow.
That's just how bad it had gotten.
So what was there?
I visited my son 2 days before he ended up dead, and he told me his last words to me was, "Mom, I love you, and if anything happens to me, just know that I didn't do nothing, and that I didn't do it to myself." He said, "And I know that you will fight for me, and you'll get to the bottom of whatever. If anything happens to me," he said, "because Mama, I know for a fact that they are gonna do something to me if I don't get out of here." He said, "Can you contact Cousin Bobby in the morning," which was on a Monday. I went and seen him that Sunday.
Okay.
"Can you please tell them I have put in for a hardship expedition out of this institution, because if I don't get out of here, Mama, I'm going to end up dead." That was his words to me that Sunday at this section. So I got up Monday morning, and I sent my cousin an email telling him what he said, and I called Tallahassee and contacted them, and contacted his office and told them what my son said. My son ended up dead His death certificate said time of death was Tuesday, that following Tuesday at 4:20. I talked to my son on one of those illegal cell phones at 3:30. He FaceTimed a cousin of his around that same time. That he was also sending her the threats that they was sending to him. And I mean, I have about 30 horrified emails that where he is screaming for help. And I have contacted Internal Affairs. I contacted Tallahassee, the Capitol. The state senators know all this. They have copies of all those emails. FDLE has copies of all those emails. Attorney General has the investigation also. They said the warden never contacted them or sent no investigation to them.
So what did they say the cause of death was? Did they?
They're saying, okay, a month ago they told me, okay, first let me back up one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
The day, they never contacted me. To this day, I've never got a call from that institution that my son was deceased.
Santa Rosa never called you?
They never called me.
Okay.
I got the call from one of his people that was in the cell in that area. He was in an open space cell. He wasn't in a cell house cell. He was in a dorm with a lot of other inmates.
Okay.
But he called his daughter and said, she said, where are you? And I said, on my way home driving. She said, you may want to pull over. So I pulled to a friend of mine, and she was on the phone, and she said, you may need to call that institution. My daddy was called. Said something, they done did something to Monte, something happened to Monte. So you know at this point, I done went living. So I contacted my cousin on one of my other phones. And so he was on the phone while I was calling them. They wouldn't answer. So I kept calling. Finally, somebody answered, and I said, this is Deshaun McQueen's mother, and I just got a disturbing phone call, and I need to know what is going on with my son. And the lady said, who called you? I said, first of all, it don't matter who called me. I need some answers, and I need them now.
Right.
She hung up on me. So I called back. I kept calling till somebody answered. And I said, ma'am, don't hang this damn phone up. She was my friend. I said, because at this point, I'm ready to drive to that institution. And it's not going to be nice. I said, because I have threatened you guys. I promised you guys if anything happened to my son, that it was not going to be pretty. I said, you better give me some answers. She said, I can't tell you nothing. I said, you can't, what you mean you can't tell me nothing? You need to tell me if my son is okay. She said, no ma'am, he's not. He is gone. And when she said that, I said, what the hell do you mean? Gone where? And she hung up on me again.
She hung up on you?
Because I'm belligerent now. Finally, they got on the phone and said, hold on. The warden is going to come on the phone and talk to you. That bastard ain't got on the phone yet.
Till this day, you still haven't heard from the warden?
And I would like to tell you
No, I talked to the warden. You know why? Because the next day,
you went there.
I got my family together and we went up there.
Gotcha.
And I recorded a live feed asking him for questions. They had us locked outside. Wouldn't even let us inside the administrative building. He took forever to come out there, and I asked him, I said, I need to know, which I already knew FDLE was the head of the investigation, because my cousin had contacted him when they said my son was dead.
Wow.
They told him they better be there ASAP. This was the next morning. I didn't find out till 9:30 that night.
Wow.
They wouldn't let me go up there. So I went that next day. And I said, I need some answers, and I need them now. Only thing he started saying, FDLE has investigation. I don't know. I said, let me tell you something. I warned y'all that nothing not happened to my son, and you supposed to have him under this institution under investigation. He told me I did do a report. I said, you're a damn lie. You ain't did nothing, because I have talked to the Attorney General. They said they don't have nothing from you. Then he told me I didn't tell you that. I said, now which one is it? You told me that, or you didn't tell me that? Because you are being recorded.
Wow. Because you guys were live at that time.
Right.
I would like to tell you that I've sent several emails to the warden and called to ask to speak to him, and they give me his secretary. This is Earlene. My son is currently incarcerated there. And when I call them, they're not very nice. They try to provoke you to make you seem like you doing something to them. So for me, from a professional standpoint and being a trained therapist, I've decided that I will not call anymore. I will send an email and I will let them know.
They got to have us go and say, because they tell you something. They lied to FDLE in their report and said they contacted me. And this man asked me 5 times in my interview with him the next day. He said, you sure ain't nobody? I said, let me tell you something. I got my phone right here. Ain't nobody from that institution contacted my phone. I contacted them. They said trying to find out how I found out so fast. That ain't the issue.
Right.
Y'all have never called me. The only time y'all heard from that institution was he died on Tuesday. That following Friday. No, that same Friday, when the medical examiner had released his body, which I was keeping in contact with them. But the day they got his body, know what they told me when I contacted the medical examiner?
What's that?
This is when they went and picked his body up. I said, so what's going on? What's supposed to happen to my son? She said, oh, it's a possible drug overdose, possibly K2 spike. I said, first of all, I'm recording your ass. I said, how the hell you know that's what he died from, and he ain't been dead 10 hours?
Now, who was
I
that?
said, you ain't even did no talk, you ain't did no autopsy. How the hell you gonna tell me this is why my child ended up dead? I said, that's some bullshit.
And so let
I
me.
said, because I've been in constant contact with him, and they done killed him. He ain't took no drug overdose. I just talked to him. He was not on drugs. The crematory that cremated my son's body said his bone mass and his muscle mass does not want a person that's been doing no damn K2 or no meth. They found methamphetamine, K2, which is a synthetic, and there's a synthetic drug in his system that they can't even categorize.
Now, so I did some research. I did some research, and I see. I think in 2018, 3 other inmates died.
And those investigations are still open.
Yeah.
Just like my son, they won't close my son's case after they found out I got a second look. I had a pathologist waiting at the funeral. They tried to get my son's body. That's the only time I heard from that institution. They had their chaplain to call my house. And
wow.
He has resigned since all this. Also, a couple of the officers and the main officer, Lieutenant Morgan, that my son has mentioned hundreds and hundreds of times, and over hundreds and hundreds of grievances on that was doing those head to threats, he also is no longer there after he had been there 17 years. As of February, after my son's death, he's no longer there.
And that his last name was Morgan.
Employed by the Department of Corrections.
And his last name was Morgan, Morgan.
Yes.
Okay.
They would never give her the whole name.
No, they wouldn't give me the whole name. Plus, my son works for the feds. He's been trying to get what's called the FHIP release to get the footage, the camera footage. Now, mind you, I wanted to see my son because I know he didn't kill himself with no drugs. So the mortician and my son were very close. He said he tried to deter me from seeing it. I had to see him in that condition to know that he didn't do it to himself.
That's right.
Right.
Now my son's face was broken up. My second look, I can't give out a whole lot of details.
Right.
But
it didn't match up.
He had a lot of bruises and some other stuff going on. And I asked the state medical examiner, when she told me there was no other internal, external injuries or ongoing diseases or nothing, when she did finish her first report, she said, but it's going to take some weeks to get the toxins back. I asked this lady flat out, did you see any type of bruising, contusions, or internal, external injuries on my son's body? And she flat out told me, no. My son's head was gashed all open. His face was all moved.